Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. It's Fountain Pen Day 2020 and what an odd year it has been. So much of this COVID-19 pandemic has impacted us in our hobby here, as with many hobbies and industries across the board. But things like mail deliveries, taking 5-6 times as long as normal, or retailers not having reliable stock, even things like fountain pen meetups and pen groups and things like that, like not being able to happen, has meant that the hobby has become something slightly different this year. So it's really great to be able to celebrate Fountain Pen Day here today in 2020. So what I thought I would do today is a video that's the next in my line of, I suppose, beginner fountain pen videos, or people coming back to the hobby or trying to find their way into this. And so what I thought I'd do today is cover 5 pretty sort of, not basic, but 5 things I have picked up along the way that I think are useful for you, if that is the position you are in. Now, everyone is going to have a different list of things in this category. Experienced users, vintage users, like all these all these different aspects of the hobby and the community. So this is my 5, and it would be different next week. It'll be different in a year's time. But right now, as I sit here, I'm going, what are the 5 things I think I would like to pass on to beginner fountain pen users? And I've made a video recently about buying your first fountain pen and what to look out for. So I'm going to avoid that sort of topic. What I want to cover is more things along the lines of, little interesting aspects of it that, may be new to you or that you may not have experienced yet. So the first point of this is cleaning your fountain pen. Cleaning your fountain pen is super important. If you don't clean it properly, you can run into a multitude of different problems, everything from staining to clogging to, things like if it's a piston filler, the mechanism no longer being effective, all of those sorts of things. And if you're using pens that, have latex in them, there's a whole lot of other issues to go into with this. But the basic is learn to clean your pen properly. This is tip number 1. Now, there are a multitude of videos online about this, showing how to clean different pens, different filling systems, different techniques for doing all of this. So check those out. I'm not showing I've even done a couple myself, so look on my channel. But the tip here is to clean your pen properly. And there's a couple of things you can do that really help. One is a really common one. It is this. This is an old one that I've been using for quite a while. It's a bulb syringe, or like an ear syringe. It's used for removing muck from babies' noses, all that sort of stuff. Super handy because you fill this up with water, draw it up into it, depress it, draw water up into it, and then you can flush through the section of your pen. I'll show it right here. This is a Faber-Castell Hexo fountain pen. A lovely fountain pen that's a relatively recent addition to the market. This is a cartridge converter pen. So it's got a converter in here, which was places where you put the ink cartridge, and converts the pen into being able to use using bottled ink. So when that is filled up and you use the mechanism on the end there to pull the little piston in the converter here up and down, and then when your pen is empty or you want to clean it, you can remove the converter and you flush this out in clean water by drawing it up and drawing it out until the water runs out of here clear. And then you have the section of the pen to clean. And so filling it up, the syringe up with water, and then once it's full, you then put it into the back of the section like that, and then you depress it, and water runs through the feed and past the nib, and flushes it out, with clear water. And once that water runs dry, you're gold. This will put about 60 converters at least of water through this section, making it a really effective way of cleaning the pen. Then what I like to do is put the converter back in the section, and then I take a glass and some tissue just plain tissue or paper towel or toilet paper or anything like that. And then I put the nib or the pen nib down in that paper, and I leave it there overnight, and it wicks out any remaining liquid or ink. And you'd be amazed at once even the water is running clear, if you look at this paper in there the next day, you'd be amazed at sort of what is actually being wicked out of the pen. So it's just an extra step that leads into the correct cleaning of or effective cleaning of a pen. My other tip with cleaning is make sure if you flush the cap, which I tend to do to remove any ink that is splattered in there during use, if you do that, make sure it's dry. A lot of these caps, this one included, have little metal components in them, and particularly a lot of pens that won't make a difference. They'd be corrosion resistant. But other pens, you just want to make sure that it's dry, just so that you don't get rust and corrosion and things like that. If you're using a piston fill pen, and this is a TWSBI Eco, just a standard TWSBI Eco, the same thing applies. You just don't take the converter out. So in clean water, you just run, by turning that knob, you see the piston running up and down there. You run water through the pen until it runs clear, and then same thing applies. Nib down into some paper, let it wick dry overnight. You don't even need to do it overnight. A couple of hours would 20 minutes will get a lot of it out. I do it overnight because it's easy. I tend to clean my pens before I go to bed, and then away you go. So for me, that is tip number 1. Learn to clean your pen really, really effectively. Tip number 2 is paper. The paper you write on is incredibly important for a fountain pen user. Now, not all paper is made the same. Your average copy paper you use in a printer, or the average legal pad you might get from your office supply store, they're not going to be made in the same way that fountain pen friendly paper will be. And you do have to pay a slightly higher price for good fountain pen friendly paper, but it does pay massive dividends. I've made a couple of videos about fountain pen friendly paper and reviewed a lot of notebooks. They're all in my channel here. And one particular video where I compared a number, I think 15 different brands of paper to show how effective they were with fountain pen ink. But I thought I'd show a couple here today that I think are a really good starting point. The first one, goes without saying, is Rhodia paper. Now this is the number 16 dot pad, so it has a dot pattern to the paper. Rhodia make blank, 5mm grid rule, standard line rule with some with margins, things like that. And then this dotted version, and they make multiple sizes. There's A5, A4. There's like hardcover notebooks. There's softcover notebooks, staple bound, ring bound, everything you could possibly need. Rhodia paper. The paper is made by Clairefontaine, which is a really great brand, another brand of paper. But these Rhodia pads are available in a lot of stores. So here in Australia, they're available at Officeworks. A lot of retailers, including pen retailers and stationery retailers around the world, stock Rhodia. And it's just really good quality paper. It's slightly coated paper, so what happens is that it's a little bit more ink resistant, so ink will just sheen nicely and shade nicely, and the writing experience actually on the paper feels really great. A couple of other brands of paper to look into. One is Tomor River. Now, Tomor River is in a multitude of books from a bunch of different brands, like all over the place. So this one is by Lockby. Lockby make these little, modular notebooks for their notebook covers, but they're just great notebooks. This particular one is plain. They do different line rulings as well. There's a dot, there's wide line, there's standard ruled line and blank. And so Tomor River paper comes in 2 different weights. There is a formulation change happening, so it depends if you get old or new stock, what you're going to get from it. But the standard classic Tomor River that we all know, that a lot of retailers still have in stock, comes in 2 different weights, 52 and 68 GSM. The 52 being very light, and the 68 still being very light, but just a little bit thicker. And what it does is it's very ink resistant paper, so it's beautiful to write on, and very lightweight, so you get a lot of pages in a very small amount of space. It's just really good quality paper and available in a range of notebooks from different brands. 2 brands I think that go under the radar ever so slightly. One is Apica, I'm not really sure how to say it. down there. They make a huge range of notebooks as well, mostly line ruled, like plain line, but with a couple of other variations as grid and things like that as well. Lots of different sizes. They're really affordable, and they are beautiful fountain pen paper. These are also quite widely available, but tend to, sort of be one of the unsung heroes of the fountain pen world. The next brand of paper is Optic paper, and that is used by Oxford in their notebooks. And what I have here is just a hardcover notebook from them. This is see, they're black and red. They do a range of notebooks in different sort of sizes and different binding options and things like that. They're not particularly available here in Australia. So if you can buy them on Amazon UK or from Colt Pens in the UK, there's just a huge range of these notebooks available, and the paper is great. It's very white. Once again, pretty affordable if you can get it. So that is another brand really worth looking at. But look into different brands of paper, look into different brands of notebook. Before I started using fountain pens, I was already collecting notebooks, and when I started writing on them, I'd notice all the feathering and the bleeding. So like ink would come through to the other side of the page so easily, or would spread out as I wrote. And I just had never taken that into account. So the more I've got into the hobby, the more I sort of have honed the sort of paper that I like to use. And these that I've just shown are really good options in my opinion. The next point is something we don't want to hear. And that is, you don't need everything. FOMO is a big part of this. Social media, things like Instagram and, well, YouTube and videos like this have made us believe that we need everything. Retailers tell us we need everything. A new Lamy Safari color comes out and we go nuts for it. And I do the same thing. I don't know how many TWSBI Ecos or Lamy Safaris I have because I just love a particular color that comes out. And in the early stages of your fountain pen journey, you'll want to try as many things as you can. Different models of pen, different nib sizes, different countries of origin, because nib widths and things are different depending on where you get them from. But if you're a collector, if you love the Lamy Safari and you want every color, that's amazing. If you want to get every TWSBI Eco or every Mont Blanc limited edition, writer's edition, whatever you want to get, that's incredible. But don't feel you need these things. Get what you love. If you love one brand of pen, if you love Diplomat, or if you love Pelikan, or if you love, TWSBI, then, that's okay. Get what makes you happy. Get what works well for you, what you enjoy writing with. It's a big part of this is actually fountain pens. It depends what you're collecting them for. Are you collecting them to be collector's items? Are you collecting them to sit on a bookshelf? Are you collecting them to, brag on social media like we all have? Like I do a lot. Like if I get something new, I want to show it off because I'm excited about it. But for me, pens primarily are a tool for writing, and I want the best writing experience I can get. And different things go into that for me. So for me, pens have to be cost effective. They have to write well, they have to feel good in my hand. And also for me, they have to be replaceable. So I don't end up getting a lot of special editions unless it's something I'm really excited about. I've left pens on planes. I have lost pens. I've broken pens. We all do these things. It's part of life. So I have spent, money to replace those pens because I love them. If I was buying a $2,000 limited edition Mont Blanc and there were 100 of them worldwide, I might not be able to do that again. So you don't need everything. Enjoy what you have, enjoy what you can have and what you really want, and make that the focus. Like, what do I want? What am I getting out of this? And something I've been doing a lot recently is really sort of going, what am I using? What do I love and why do I love it? And allowing my collection to reflect that. A really fun part of this hobby is ink. There are literally hundreds of brands of ink worldwide and thousands of colors with different properties: shade, shimmer, sheen, waterproof, document proof, bulletproof, color changing, UV reactive, all these sorts of things. You can't have everything. Money is always a barrier. Space is a barrier. And also, why are you collecting it again? Are you going to use this? The best thing I found, and this is no new thing to anyone who have been in the industry, pen industry or hobby for a while, the thing I have found that I have loved the most is ink samples. So you can buy a 2 ml, 3 ml, depending on where you get it from, 4 ml sample vial of an ink to try out. That's a 2 ml sample vial is 2 fills of a pen, of a standard cartridge converter pen. So you can really get to know the ink, and for a much smaller price. An example of this is Pulp Addiction here in Australia, who make this is a set of samples from them, the Diamine Royal Blues, and you get a sample vial. It is a small plastic vial with a little label on it that says the ink, and it is, in this case, 2 ml of this particular ink. This one is Diamine Imperial Blue. And so you get these samples, and it really lets you know if you want to get the ink. Like a bottle of Diamine for an 80 ml bottle might cost more than $20, whereas the sample here costs $3. So it's a smaller investment to see if you really like something, if you're going to use it. I tend to get a lot of ink samples and I use them, and I probably convert maybe 2 out of 10 to a bottle of ink, maybe less than that. And it's allowed me to try a lot of ink, review a lot of ink, work out the properties, know what I like, know what sort of colors I like, what brands I like. As I said, different inks have different properties. They all write slightly differently on the page, whether it's dry time or whether it's a wet or a dry ink, which is a whole nother conversation, seeing as though they are liquid. But get to know ink, get to know brands, lots of these, Diamine and Robert Oster, these brands which I really enjoy, Monteverde, they are all available in sample form from different retailers. As I said, Pulp Addiction here in Australia do a wonderful ink sample service, as do Desk Bandit. But things like Goulet pens and Anderson pens in the UK and the US do wonderful ink sampling and have huge ranges. So it's really worth checking out ink samples. If you want to try out a bunch of ink, it's a really great cost-effective way of doing that without taking up a whole lot of space and, a whole lot of expense. Now we're at my 5th and final tip or hack, whatever you want to call them for this video. And this is talk to people. The pen community is huge, and it covers the globe, every country, every continent. We are talking thousands of people on some of these Facebook groups and forums and Reddit and all these sorts of things. Talk to your community, get involved. There are a huge range of people with different interests and different priorities, and with a huge knowledge base behind it. Now, the majority of people are really friendly and helpful and want to encourage you in your journey. There are a few people who have particular feelings about particular things. Of course, that's what you would get with any community. But the vast majority of the pen community are here if you want to ask questions. I'm here. I've been reviewing pens for a number of years now, and I've had so many pens and different inks and things come through my collection over the years. And I'm always happy to answer questions. There's a lot of us out there. So ask the questions, comment on the videos, reach out. And a great way to do this actually is, when it's COVID safe, is to go to pen shows and pen clubs and pen meets and all these sorts of things, because you meet wonderful people who, as I said, want to help you, want to encourage you, want to share their passion. And it's sharing that passion that is so exciting. It's why I make these videos. So if you've got a question, ask. If you're wanting a pen that, has a particular filling system and comes in a particular nib size at a particular price point, from a particular country, or where, that retails in a particular country, so postage doesn't cost you as much. Whatever the question is, ask. Someone will be able to help you, and someone will be willing to help you and want to help you. So reach out, talk to people. Involve yourself in the community. It is a wonderful community. These are great people, and a day like Fountain Pen Day is a great example of that. We have amazing retailers doing amazing deals. We have companies like Faber-Castell here in Australia who are really, or globally, but here in Australia, who are really getting behind fountain pen use here in Australia and wanting to support that and encourage that. And they're doing wonderful things. Like in October, they had their Right to Create little I don't know, campaign, shall we call it, encouraging people. Brands like Faber-Castell have wonderful pens, the Hexo, the Grip, the Loom, the Neo Slim, the E-Motion, the list goes on. And these companies are here in Australia and worldwide encouraging, people for not just commercial reasons, but also because this is a great hobby and a great community, and the people who work at these places are just as passionate as we are about these products. So talk to the people on the forums, ask the questions, watch all the YouTube videos you can get your hands on, and just be in the community and enjoy that. I've really loved being part of this community for the last few years, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, and particularly once this pandemic is out of the way. I'm really looking forward to getting back and actually being around fountain pen people, because they're wonderful people. So talk to them, reach out, ask the questions. There's no stupid questions. There's no stupid people. Just questions. We all need to learn, and we've all been there. Don't forget, at some point, someone had to teach you to use a spoon. So let's all go forward and make this community an even better place. Free from racism and sexism and prejudice and bigotry and all these things that the world is so compacted with at the moment. Let's enjoy our pens. Let's enjoy this hobby. Let's enjoy helping each other find this hobby. So thank you for watching. If you're at the beginning of your fountain pen journey or taking new steps, do it. Be excited about it. We're all excited about it and we love it. So keep going. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at @the_offstage_me. You can contact me in my videos here, drop me an email, which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, if you've got questions about products, or whatever the case may be, if you'd like to support the channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you because it's your support and support of a number of wonderful companies who make this channel possible. So thank you for watching. Enjoy Fountain Pen Day. Talk to other users. Talk to everyone. Let's get this community thriving. And I'll talk to you soon.